like to welcome everyone to today's edition of the Software Oasis Software Spotlight. And our guest today is in Belgium. We have from Salesflare, we have Jerome, one of the co-founders, and we really appreciate your being with us here today.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me on.
And I was wondering if we could start off by giving our listeners a good overview of the Salesflare CRM platform so that they can understand how the technology can help B2B businesses work their sales funnel and sales cycle and keep in touch with their clients.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so we started Salesflare. I'm co-founder and CEO of the company. Salesflare, it's called. The product is also called Salesflare, and we started 9 years ago because we were a bit frustrated with the current solutions, in the sense that we felt that CRMs would always require a lot of work, and like an amount of work that you cannot even how can I say it doesn't even make a lot of sense. You cannot require salespeople to fill out that much information to then get a little bit of value out of a CRM. What most salespeople feel is that management wants to look at what they're doing, but the system itself doesn't help them. And then eventually, nothing ends up in the CRM. And a lot of things that the CRM is supposedly going to do for you, according to the website of the company, is never happening. So most CRMs don't help you with follow up. They don't help you with insights. They don't help you with knowing your sales forecasts, with collaboration, with all these kind of things. Because not because they're not built for it, but because the first steps are not taken, and the first steps are making sure the CRM is used and the data ends up in there. So we thought, what if we could solve that? What if we could make it super easy to get that information, all of the stuff you need to track on a day-to-day basis into the CRM without you having to do that? And we figured that actually most of the things are digitally available. And it's a bit weird that as a salesperson, you're taking digital data and putting it in another system. Software is built for that, Software is really
Sure.
great at plugging into systems, gathering information, recognizing data points, connecting them much better than a human being. And it's also not something that salespeople terribly enjoy. A computer doesn't care. And that's when we started building a system that essentially plugs into your mailbox. It plugs into your calendar. It plugs into your phone. It gets some data from different databases about people, also from email signatures, about companies. It has integrated tracking, and basically every single data point is tracked for you. It even tracks the strength of relationships and all that, and then it offers that information to you. But you asked me to show the platform, and I'll do that
Yeah, that would be
because that will
fantastic.
give
And
you a very good idea of what I mean.
yeah, and I would agree. I've been involved in many B2B sales operations, and quite honestly, the biggest roadblock to using a system is in being able to interact with the system and not feel as if, as a salesperson, you're literally just entering data just to enter data to satisfy management, but instead to have a system that's working collaboratively with you to help you
Yeah,
scale your sales funnel and close more deals. I think that's what it comes down to.
exactly. Yeah, well, if you ask most of our customers what they use the system for, it's to follow up their leads, and that's the basic thing for which they use it. But then from there, a lot of things flow. Like you get better collaboration, you get better insights. You know actually what you're gonna sell. It's manageable. People can pick up when necessary, and all these kind of things. It all follows from actually using it for this basic purpose.
And I would
Um,
say that the user interface is beautiful. It's intuitive, very straightforward. The onboarding is fantastic.
Yeah, let me show that. So we claim it's a CRM your team will love to use. You'll also see that if you go, for instance, on G2, that some people say that we didn't invent that out of nothing. But if you want to try it, you just click here, try it for free. And then I'm going to sign up now as I'm Sarah now. I'm not Jeroen today, but I'm Sarah. And Sarah goes to the sign up page. She clicks on sign up with Google. Then she selects her account. She has a Google account. This is a Gmail. I do recommend signing up with a company email that you actually use for your sales, not with some empty Gmail account, because then you will not get most of the magic that I'm going to show you in a moment. So she will use it to follow up her leads better. You see, it's also the top goal here. What does she use currently? A spreadsheet. That's very common. And how many people use it? It's just Sarah, so 1 to 2. Then next, it will help her work less, be in control of her pipeline, and sell in a smarter way. Now, let's see what that looks like. So we take it for a spin. This first walkthrough is just to show you the very basic aspects of Salesflare in a quick way. It's not real data, but I'll show you real data in a second based on our mailbox. So this is an account. Salesforce imports a lot of information about accounts, just companies you're selling to, automatically. So you get like social profiles, how big a company is, what their general email address is, some tags, etc. Then Salesflare knows who you're in touch with at the company. It detects that in your emails, who you're emailing with, and it detects it in your calendar, who you're having meetings with. Then Salesforce auto creates contacts, and it immediately suggests them on accounts. It also gathers information about people from publicly available info and email signatures, and it's all like immediately there. But I'll show that in real life also a bit later. So I'll just accept the suggestion here. Then Salesforce pulls in the full timeline with calls, website visits, maybe if you install the website script, meetings from the calendar, emails, and then you can create an opportunity. Let me show you that very quickly. Create an opportunity, which will end up in the pipeline, which is a view that many people enjoy. It's what gives you a sense of control because you have the different stages of your sales process, and you can see at each point, like, where are all my leads in a visual
Now,
way.
obviously, every different organization has different stages in their
Yes,
pipeline. Do you have the opportunity to
of
customize these
course.
stages? Okay,
Yeah, that's super basic functionality. Of course, you can customize the stages. You can also create multiple pipelines and all that. The magic of Salesforce is not in the pipeline itself. It's what happens behind it, all the tracking. This is
sure,
something you find in every CRM.
right.
Um, give you a little animation, and then you can get started. Now, we have a little setup guide here, which is handy to check if you want to get started. It gives you extra days on the trial. Standard Salesforce starts with 7 days, but that's just to motivate you to take more setup steps. Because as you set up Salesflare, we know that you will be more successful. And to motivate you to do that, we give you extra days. If you go through all the steps, you get 30 extra days. You get 30 days in total, actually. So you start with
Perfect.
7 and you get 30. It always has a little article and a video also, if you want to check that out. But what I want to show you is here in the accounts. You can see that the account that we created during the onboarding is already there, but also it shows you a few account suggestions. It includes 2 competitors here. These are because Sarah has communicated with these companies. Now, these are just some teasers here, but you can find all of them in the suggestions tab. Why is this the case? This is because Sarah has been emailing with people at Close. She emailed here with this nick. And very easily, you can just create the account, like the company you're selling to, and add nick. And then is there an opportunity? Sure, we'll sell to Close. And you see here that the emails they exchange also immediately get pulled in. So with a few clicks, really, you can fill your CRM, which is what we essentially want to achieve. Make it super easy for you. Make sure you don't forget to do it, because each time you get in touch with a new company or with a new contact at a company or so, you normally need to have that reflex to always put people in there, which is a bit of an unnatural reflex, because you want to be selling. You don't want to be always thinking about your CRM. We make sure that the CRM takes care of that for you. And then based on that, it will do lots of other stuff, but I can't really show these things now. It will show like there's a suggested task section here, which will show up, which will then send you automated reminders of, oh, here's a company you're forgetting to follow up. Here's an email you're forgetting to answer. Here's some notes that you forgot to add, all these kind of things. But that just appears as you're using the system.
Sure. So obviously the system is prompting the user, for a lot of different steps along the way. What type of sales team do you feel would achieve the most benefit from this system?
So in general, we stop at B2B. We don't
Okay.
do B2C companies because that just enables us to make the software a little easier. If we also accept companies who sell to consumers on our software, that makes that we have to complicate the software because we need to allow different types of
Perfect.
relationships in different directions, etc. So we only do B2B companies who sell to other companies. And some of the most popular types of companies on our software are agencies, consultancies, tech companies, startups, some telcos, and many other. But those are the most common types of companies that use our software.
Now, can you talk a little bit towards trends in the CRM industry, especially within your niche, within the B2B segment of the market?
Yeah,
What do you see as the biggest trends?
there's always these trends in the short term, and there's the trends that take some years to develop. What we have seen over the lifespan of Salesflare so far is that many CRMs started off more as a database and became more of a sales system. So they have developed a lot of tools inside the CRM. At some point, I remember there were many sales tools out there, and you had to use them all separately and connect them. Nowadays, you can all find them in one place. So, for instance, Salesforce offers you some of the things I showed you, like the automated data tracking, etc. It has built-in email sequences here in the workflows. We offer you email templates, email tracking, web tracking, a LinkedIn integration, an email finder, all these kind of things used to be all separate tools, but that was a bit of a mess. You had to go in different
Right.
places. You had to take your CSV files and juggle them around. You had to, in Excel, try to deduplicate stuff, and it was terrible.
So
Uh,
many fewer band-aids to get one single solution working from the login, and
yeah,
you're up and running.
yeah, and I'm not someone who believes in this one business software that will solve it all, because I believe that then you don't really get great software anymore.
Right.
Because then it's sort of how can I say it, it will be software that tries to do too many things, and that eventually doesn't pan out well. But if you stay within a certain space, a certain department, let's say, and try to solve as many things as possible in a great way, so that that department doesn't have to um, juggle with data all over the place and use all these different tools. I think that's a better world in general. And then some things are less connected than others, obviously. We, for instance, have not built a proposal tool because we believe that is a slightly separate type of software.
Sure.
But, no.
Can you also talk, about the obviously trends? We understand the consolidation of functionality, but can you talk a little bit about the integrations that Salesflare enables to make it a unified environment?
Yeah. So I think some of the most core integrations are with your emails, for instance. So if you, I don't know whether I have the sidebar here though. Do I? No, I don't. Okay, well, you'll have to believe me. We have a sidebar next to emails. So if you open up an email, it will show you all the information next to it that we have in Salesforce, and then you can add the company in one click, and it can also track emails and stuff when you're outside of Salesforce. We have the same in LinkedIn. So that basically you don't have to switch tabs when you're talking to customers, whether you're in Gmail or in LinkedIn or so. Salesforce is always there with you, and you can work from there. If you want to work from Salesforce, that's possible as well. Um, that is a trend we've also seen over the years. Now, more recent trends is things like AI, etc.
Sure.
Um, although within CRMs itself, it's not super clear yet where the big wins are. Of course, Salesforce has all kinds of press releases about AI, and some other companies are throwing in some easy generative AI stuff. Uh, but in the long run, things will go way beyond that. Obviously, these are just some things that can easily be achieved by just integrating to the OpenAI API. But in the longer run, basically, sales will be largely automatable. I believe in a future where um, salespeople will just be in conversations and all the other things will happen for them. The software will make a nice summary of the conversation, define next steps, prep this nice follow-up email. The salesperson can look at it and click. It will follow up. All the data tracking we've already covered. You just will have to do some clicks there as well. So that way, the salesperson can really focus on their role, which is understanding people, guiding people, uh,
So really,
do a
they can
solution.
focus on selling and
Yeah, on
really
customers
have
and
the
on
support.
selling, and instead of having to do all these other things to make that work, there's a lot of things that computers are much better at.
Understood. And can you briefly touch on security and data compliance? Because I know obviously for a lot of organizations, that is a big concern.
Yeah, we are ourselves based in the center of Europe, so we take GDPR very seriously. I know that not everyone takes it as seriously, especially companies who are US based. Often still, I mean, they need to comply because if you keep data of a EU resident, then you need to be compliant. But still, it's there's a bit more gray zone there. But GDPR is one aspect because that covers data privacy, how things are kept, that they're deletable, and a lot of other things. Then there's also a big aspect which is data security. Um, we ourselves have a yearly checkup by an external company. We have a vulnerability disclosure program if there's any hackers on the watching this, where if you find a vulnerability in our software, you can get a bounty. We have all kinds of security practices in place to make sure that it's not hackable, that the tokens are in specific places and they're protected by other tokens and all those kind of things. Um, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, one other question. As far as challenges facing sales teams, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see sales teams facing today that your solution helps these sales teams overcome?
Yeah. I could say something really sexy now, but I believe that sales teams are still dealing with the basic challenges, and that is actually using their CRM, actually tracking their customers better, actually generating leads, following them up well. Um, we are still in, how can I say, still in early stages. I think many sales teams have not evolved much further than the spreadsheet.
Very nice, very nice. Now, one other question that I have, and I don't know if you can cover this or not, but are there any upcoming features that you think sales teams will be excited about in terms of new features that you are working on your roadmap?
We have a bunch of features coming up that are a bit more, how can I say, basic. So we management tool in which you can easily manage tags and a sort of a type of custom field that will enable you to connect entities, which has a lot of applications, but like identify a main contact on someone or connecting one company to another one for a certain purpose or. But some of the more, how can I say, sexy features again will be a lead search is something we're working on. Because I talked a bit earlier about how teams still have to manage data from one place to another and juggle a lot of CSVs. And we feel that is still one big remaining area where people do a certain lead search, then import it into Salesforce to send an email sequence, then get some bounces, get some good leads, and then we have to repeat that cycle. But each time need to deduplicate the information, make sure they don't email the same people. Of course, if it's exactly the same person with the same email sequence, it will not send again. But if you not want to email people from the same company, if you want to orchestrate that across salespeople and all that, it's still very difficult. So that's the next problem we're going after.
Very nice. Well, I think it's a very exciting solution. It absolutely solves a lot of the challenges that B2B sales teams are facing in today's global marketplace, where everyone is looking to push forward and close as many deals as possible with the fewest possible resources. And it really seems like to me, the interface compared to a lot of different types of software that organizations are using nowadays is very streamlined, very intuitive, and honestly packs quite a bit of functionality into a very, very straightforward
Yeah,
dashboard.
that is, thank you. And that is indeed a bit of the challenge. So we, when people onboard on our software, it all looks very simple at first, and they don't see that a lot of things are possible because we layer the software a little, so that you don't get overwhelmed, but there is
Right.
a lot of things below it, and it's that is not immediately apparent.
Perfect. And for a sales team that's looking to explore your solution, you had pointed to the free trial at the beginning.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the onboarding and getting up and running as far as transitioning from where an organization is at now to being fully live on Salesflare? What you see as the stages?
Yeah. Stage one, I think, is getting on the software. You just go on the website, start a free trial. You've seen it, like connect your email account, start synchronizing. That part is relatively easy. It's good to invite your team members and then create a few companies in the software, some accounts, and see whether it helps you follow up, whether it helps you organize things. Because if you don't feel that, then it's probably not worth it. If you don't see yourself using the CRM as a team, then I mean, don't bother. But if you feel that is something that will work for you, then just get the data from the previous system you were using, export it into a CSV. There's good videos on how to do it best without making a lot of mistakes. Import it into Salesforce. Salesforce will immediately enrich all of the available information. So the information about the companies, about the contacts. It will also then, as you add contacts to accounts, which can also happen in the import, it will make timelines with all the emails you ever exchanged in your inbox and the meetings you had in your calendar and all that. And then it's mostly about, I think, discussing as a team how you're going to use it. So what does a sales process look like? Setting up the pipeline. How are we going to follow up? Are we going to use tasks? Are we going to use some sort of filter views? Because we have a lot of available filters like last email date, last meeting date, last state change date, last interaction date. You can use all this kind of views to see that how long ago did I follow up and all that. What metrics are we going to track? Which ones are important to us? And set those up in the dashboard. Um, the very simple things, I think, is a matter of days. But if you look at the really getting set up, I think a month is realistic
Sure.
to really get the whole team going and everything. That's why we offer a 30-day trial.
Yeah, and I think the onboarding is obviously well thought out. Clearly, there are many new players in the software as a service space, and I think the interesting thing is that it's a very you're a veteran in the industry.
Yeah, by now,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's an amazing solution. We'll obviously include a link in the show notes for anyone that would like to get up and running with a trial of Salesflare. And we really appreciate your taking the time to join us on the episode today. One final thing I'll share with you. I thought it was interesting. I was reading over your reading list on your site, and Jeffrey Gitomer's sales Bible getting
Nice.
up and running is on my bookshelf. My copy of his red book is a little dated. The title's a little bit worn, but we have that in common. Absolutely
Yeah, you read
exciting.
the best sales CRM, no, best sales books post, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's one of
I
the books
thought
in there.
I thought that was really well done, and it's not only exciting technology, but it's the whole concept of the sales process is very exciting as well. So we really appreciate your taking the time out. Any final things that you'd like to leave our listeners with today? I know we covered a lot of ground.
No, not really. I would say in general, it's often good to go back to the basics of sales and wonder how you can do things better. Because we're all focused on this kind of shiny balls, this new technology often, and forgetting what it's all about and how we can make the basics run better. Because there's still so much opportunity there. Every day I'm in touch with sales teams, and there's massive opportunity in just following up leads better, nurturing leads better, organizing yourself better. Instead of using the latest AI tool for a very specific thing or so.
Sure, it's so easy to get distracted, like you said, by the shiny object syndrome. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's a matter of just back to basics and just working through the process and
exactly.
tying it all together. So, hey, thank you. We're tuning out from just outside of Boston here in the U.S. and today we've been speaking with Jerome over at Salesflare in Antwerp, Belgium.
Nice to talk with you.
Very nice to talk to you. Take care.